What is up, everybody? Chewy89 coming at you today, and we're going to be doing a tournament report on at Second Wind. I just was playing there this past weekend, and I somehow got second place. Playing Apocalypse and the Black Order as a dual affiliation. And man, I had a wonderful time. I couldn't believe that I was in the finals at the end there. It was crazy, man. And I ended up losing to Eric Wong, playing a very strong defenders list. I did feel like I could win that matchup. The matchups were recorded. I think Vincent Kirchhoff will be doing commentary on those matchups. And the matches you guys are gonna like to watch are gonna be my Black Order against Asgard, and then my Apocalypse team against Spider Foes in the semifinals. You're definitely gonna love those matches. The finals match is pretty good, but you know, it's whatever. You know what I mean? It's kind of it is what it is. But it was a competitive match all the way around. I mean, Eric did some really cool stuff in that match. I'm not gonna spoil what happened, but he did a really cool thing at the end. It was awesome. But if you guys can't do me a favor, like, dislike, comment, and subscribe. Do what y'all gotta do. I'm always gonna have the MCP content for you guys, and try to get me to 1,000 subscribers, guys. If you guys can, I really would appreciate it. But yeah, let's get over. First of all, Second One is one of the best tournaments ever run. I know I've told Vince that a bunch of times. They do a really good job. They keep things running on time. They use chess clocks. The judge calls are fantastic. The venue that they have it at, it's Alarmist Pub Brewery over in Chicago, Illinois. It's a really great place. They welcome us. Really great beer. Really great atmosphere. Solid. It's just a solid tournament all around. If you can make one tournament a year, like one big tournament, I would say like Second Wind then LVO, or LVO then Second Wind. It doesn't matter. I think those are the two best run tournaments. I do need to get out to Everwinter at some point. I won't be able to go this year because I qualified for nationals for One Piece, so I'll be in Orlando during that time, so I won't be able to do that. Won't be able to do LVO because of that too, so I'm missing LVO for a second straight year. But if you can go out to those tournaments, I mean, seriously, Second Wind is fantastic, LVO, but Second Wind is fantastic. Vince does a great job. So let's go over the tournament. So I decided to run Apocalypse with the Black Order Splash. And the reason being, I mean, it's very simple. Like, I've been playing Apocalypse for the past, I mean, since he came out, right? I haven't played him like proxy him or anything like that. I saw his card. They revealed the Horseman cards and all that stuff. I didn't play him like crazy a lot. I waited for the mod to catch up at him, and then once I had the mod on, paid him. I played him in one local tournament, went 3-1 with him. Played him in the Silver Spork, and then I was playing him locally against some people that wanted some practice into just practice for Second Wind and practicing on clocks and all that. So at that point, I had a grand total maybe I don't know, maybe 10 games at that point. And I was starting to grasp how they worked, and through trial and error, I make mistakes. I mean, I made some misplays throughout the trial, but those misplays I learned and I adapted and I figured it out. Playing Apocalypse is not the easiest thing, and I mentioned this in another video talking about the Horsemen, talking about Apocalypse. Not the easiest thing. A couple of reasons. One, first reason is there's a lot of management, right? So you have to keep up with your virus tokens. You have to understand what the Horsemen are doing with their cards, and you just need to understand. And you also need to remember that you do have rerolls with the evolution tokens. You need to have really good. You need to understand power management. You need to understand evolution token management, and let's just say you're not playing with models that are considered top tier. Okay, you are playing with models like Colossus, who is improved, right? But a lot of people consider him a guy, and he is, right? But with playing with the Horsemen and him with Pestilence, and I don't know if you guys know what Pestilence does. Pestilence is insane. Every character within 2 gains a special condition, either root, poison, or slow. You choose, and then after they all gain a condition, you gain 3. You can gain up to 2 to 3 Evo tokens, or maybe 4, depending on how many characters are within 2. And Colossus excels at that because he wants to be within 2 anyway for the bodyguard and everything like that. And, things like that, right? Like using war properly, right? The other thing, too, is that Apocalypse can use every Horseman affiliation ability now that they rule that the characters, even if they're removed from the game, he can use those abilities. Now, why that's clutch? Maybe there's a situation you might not need to do the famine hop, right? Because the popular play with Apocalypse is to gaining 2 Evo tokens and do the famine hop and attack. Well, there's situations maybe you don't need to phantom hop. Maybe you use war because you want to drop a character. I did that to Namor over the weekend. I picked war. I rolled dice. I did Insomnia's Judgment because they had a bunch of conditions on them, and I just one shot Namor. Like things like that. He can use everything, right? And it's situational. You don't just always famine hop. You don't always do whatever. It's situational. You need to understand the situations and do that. So those are the reasons why, like Apocalypse is, it's not straightforward. It's not easy to do. Um, it's probably one of the more complex things in the game to manage. And it's very fun and it's very rewarding. Um, Apocalypse as a character is not broken either. Like he's a very good sixth threat, probably not splashable, right? He's not a big kaiju like Malekith or Cosmic Ghost Rider or even Thanos. Like Thanos is way better than him. So yeah, and that's another thing too, right? He's really good, but not great. Um, and he does have matchup problems, right? I mean, he could if he runs into control like Thanos or he runs into Hulk or whatever, he's going to have a bad time. Granted, he does have the famine hop, but he's going to have a bad time. And we'll talk about that in a minute because my first match was against the local and it was an Apocalypse mirror. Um, so there's a lot of weaknesses, right? And a lot of people were playing Apocalypse straight with the Horseman, and you want to do that, right? So 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whenever it was, I forgot when I messaged, DM'd some people about this. There was three models I didn't like, right? I was playing, and it was like, there's three models I just don't like in my roster, right? And not that I hate them, it's just like I can replace these models and do something else and try something, right? Because I'm going into a 64-man tournament. I'm expecting Thanos Cabal. I'm expecting Asgard. I'm expecting meta stuff, okay? I need something to deal with the meta. I cannot beat every meta team with this roster, right? Even though even though Apocalypse, I feel like has game into everything. But because the models, I'll just say the lack of control that Apocalypse has, right? Because Colossus doesn't push, right? Wolverine doesn't push, or throw, or they do have throws, but Wolverine has a throw on a spender, which never really goes off because he just kills the model, which is funny. Colossus doesn't have control, right? Apocalypse doesn't have control. Psylocke doesn't have control. Blob does, but it's like it's not great, right? That's my whole point. It's not great. So I had to think about it, and I sat around and I keep hearing about Black Order. And I'm like, I have three spots. I can cut like 2 or 3 tactics cards because if I get rid of these characters, and I'm gonna play Black Order when I feel like the matchup's not in my favor, or I can win it, right? If it's 50-50, I'll take Apocalypse, right? Or depending on the map size, right? So that's when I fit in Black Order, right? And when I made this roster, I said, screw it. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to roll. And that's it, right? My mindset was Thanos Cabal, Asgard. We're playing Cabal. We're playing Black Order, right? Because the way they want to play the game is they want to play down the middle. So does Black Order. Black Order has better dice, in my opinion, than those. I would say better than Asgard. Thanos Cabal is a little different. But I would say, they're up there, right? Because Thanos can juice the dice and Corvus can just add blanks as successes and blah, 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 blah. I think I don't need to do a whole primer on Black Order. You guys should know what they do by now. So that was my mindset, right? And once I made the roster, I put it in. I started getting questions at the tournament that Friday about it. And everybody's like, are you serious? You're going to go? I'm like, yeah. And I told everybody what I was going to do. I said, if you're, I'm just expect this now. If you're an Asgard player, expect Black Order. If you're not, and depending if it's wide enough and if the scenario isn't strictly down the middle, expect Apocalypse, right? I said it like 3 or 4 times. And everybody's like, yeah, that was very unique. And it worked out really well. So, yeah, I ended up getting second at the tournament. And it was fantastic, man. I couldn't believe it. It was insane. Like I can't put into words. I got really lucky, right? I think I had some favorable matchups throughout the day. And I exceeded, right? But those are the things you're supposed to do. If you get matchups that you feel like you're good into, you're supposed to win, right? If I lose those matchups, I'm not getting second, right? So, it is what it is. And then so like I said, so I made this roster expecting a lot of Asgard and expecting a lot of Thanos Cabal, right? So let's look at the spread right quick of the affiliations that were run at the tournament. Right now we have 7 Apocalypse. It's tied with the top with Defenders. Defenders is really good, by the way, man. It was a really tough matchup for me. 6 Asgard, 5 Spider Foes. I believe this is Cabal. That's Midnight Suns, 4 Midnight Suns, 4 Avengers. And as you can see, there's like a unique spread. And if you look at Cabal, like 3 here. So my thought process, it really didn't have. I was expecting like almost every round to be Asgard, almost every round to be Cabal. Something, right? That didn't happen. So let's go over my matchups now. So I know this is all over the place. So we talked about the roster. We're gonna look at my roster in a second, and we'll talk about it. So my matchups were round 1 was an Apocalypse Mirror against Ryan Warwick. Ryan is a local from Wisconsin, I believe, and nice guy, great human being. But I already said I wasn't playing the Mirror, and I'm gonna play Thanos. I played Black Order. It was Demons Downtown. I had 19 threat. My 19 was Thanos, Corvus, Proxima, Deadpool. I just played a typical Thanos game where I just banished Apocalypse towards the end of the corner, and I murdered his models, and I won the game pretty easily. The game was over really fast. I got a chance to sit down and relax for like almost 2 hours because we had a lunch break right after. And Ryan, I brought him a beer right afterwards. I felt dirty doing that. I really did. I felt, as a fellow Apocalypse player, I felt dirty doing that. So that happened. Round 2, we play into Inhumans, which is really strange. A really unique list. It was 20 threat. It was intrusions, and it was scrolls. It was 20 threat. I don't remember if I had prior or not. I could just look at it here. It doesn't matter. Who cares? That's my 20-point list at that point was, and here we go now. This is, like I said, I feel like Apocalypse has game into everything except for those 2 things. And if this is Inhumans, I'm like, we could do this. So I went Apocalypse, Colossus, Wolverine, Psylocke, Toad. And that was my 20 threat. I mean, if I have that wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. But that was my 20 threat. And we won that game. We played really well. Again, I had one turn where I spiked on everything, and this is where I talk about the Insomnia's Judgment and all other kind of stuff. We had a point where everyone was in the middle, trying to get points. And the Inhumans, I mean, it was a very unique list. Like, Black Bolt kept bodyguarding, and then Namor kept getting rerolls, blah, 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 blah. But the problem was that Colossus was in the middle, and Colossus tanked every single attack. He would not die. Like, he was on his injured side going into round 3, I think, but every attack went into him with sacrifice, with recalibration matrix. I even healed him. He poured every single attack dice into Colossus, and he did not die. Colossus ended up getting a turn, ended up dazing 2 models because he did a Pestilence Bomb. Zemo was on 1 health. He had a condition. He dazed. We did a big attack into someone else. They took damage. They dazed. I threw something. I was not able to pull off the fastball special. I was trying to the entire game, but there was no opportunity to do so, and I was really sad about that. And it was and I just rolled from there, right? It was a really close game. Very, very unique. It was a unique puzzle to solve. And we did really well, and we ended up winning the game. We go into round 3. I play against another local Quinn, Spider Foes, and I'll just say this right now. If I see Spider Foes, I'm playing Apocalypse. I feel like Apocalypse is really good in the Spider Foes. I don't feel like they have enough output to drop Apocalypse. I don't feel like they have enough control to deal with him. And I feel like I'm just going to win that matchup. I don't think it matters. As long as I can spread out, it is what it is. So that one, we got Intrusions, and it was Struggle for the Cube. I had priority. He chose 17. My 17 at that point was Apocalypse, Colossus. Damn, I'm drawing a blank. Blob and Toad. Let me see. Hold on. It was 14. No. I'm wrong. It was Apocalypse, Psylocke, Colossus, Blob. Oh my God. Apocalypse, Blob, Colossus, Psylocke. That was my 17. I went 4 wide. It was going to be a fight. I had priority. I literally just went to the middle with Colossus, grabbed the middle one. Didn't matter if you attack him or not. It is what it is. You can't push him, can't do anything. Um, it is what it is. He didn't play Citrus Traps or anything like that. I just ended up winning that game just because, like I said, he didn't have enough output to drop Apocalypse. Psylocke just lived. Colossus did Colossus things again with Pestilence, and Colossus is a superstar with Pestilence. You always put Pestilence on Colossus. And then Blob. I mean, I'm going to show you here in a TTS like one of the cool things I do with Blob. There was an objective sitting on the other end of the map, and Blob moved twice, famine hopped, and was able to pick up an objective. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was in my second to last game. Never mind. But either way, he can do some silly things like that. Blob's just gonna push people away if you attack him within range 3. Doesn't matter, right? Round 4. Now we finally get Asgard, right? Finally, we're 3-0 at this point. I play Black Order. It was Mayor Fisk, and it was Hammers. Okay, and I was questioning Mayor Fisk, but it is what it is. I won priority, and he chose 18. He went with Loki, Thor, Bill, Scourge. I went. I went. Basically, my 18 was Thanos, Corvus, Proxima, Toad. So I started the turn, pick up the side hammer, and he can't really attack Toad turn 1, so he couldn't get there. He moves with Loki and gets behind a tree. Couldn't attack Toad. He moved up Thor, and this is where trouble ensued. He moved up Thor within 2. I spaced with Space Gem with Thanos. I moved medium. I was able to mind gem him because of the place within 2. I mind gem Thor backwards. I moved backwards and I portal up Corvus with Cosmic Portal. Okay, he refuses to go get that side hammer because he's afraid I'm just gonna blitz him from there. I think he ends up going with Thor because I could have walked 2 times because of the portal with Corvus. I could have walked up 2 times and grabbed his hammer. And he goes up with Thor right away, picks up the hammer, and does whatever he does. I then go with Corvus Proxima. I do the husband and wife thing. I give Corvus the hammer. I maintain my priority. We go on a turn. Basically, I'm not going to go too much in this game. It was just a dice fiesta. I ended up taking that game like 18-15. It was a crazy game. You guys will watch it on Vince's channel. Don't worry about it. But I ended up winning that 18-15, and it went like how I thought it would, right? It ended basically with a crazy turn with Corvus just one-shotting Loki 2 times. It was insane. So then we go into round 5, and right now, like, the matchups are either Asgard Defenders. Let me see here. Let me remind myself what it was. It was Spider Foes, Asgard Defenders, and then me, right? And I'm sitting here thinking, if I get Spider Foes, we're going to the finals, right? I feel that confident in the matchup. My opponent was great. He was fantastic. So we do get Spider Foes going into round 5. Playing against Seagar, really good player, guys. Absolutely fantastic. Made really good decisions. We ended up. What happened? He won Prio. The extract was Montesi. We play it at 18. That game was Deadpool, Blob. Jesus, I'm drawing a blank. Deadpool, Blob, Toad, Apocalypse, right? Go 5 wide. His dice were on fire. I thought I was going to lose this game because he just kept pouring a whole bunch of dice into me. But then the dice ended up cooling off, and then I was able to clutch that game out, and it was really close at the end. We ended up winning that one, I think, 16-13, if I remember correctly. But like I said, in the Spider Foes, I don't feel disadvantaged. Like I just feel like I'm advantaged, and I feel like I can win. Actually, 17-12. We ended up winning that game. But yeah, either way. So let's go into the finals now. We're playing into Defenders. Eric Wong. It was my first time ever playing this guy. Really good player. Apparently he won Carl Con or something like that the month before, whenever it was. They've been talking him up all weekend. We unfortunately lost that game. He won priority, I believe. Yeah, he won priority because he chose Secures. We got the one thing I did not want to see was Origin Bombs, and we got Origin Bombs. That game, I was debating seriously to play Thanos Black Order. I decided against it. I said, it's the finals. let's see if we can clutch this out with Apocalypse. And I think it's still the right call, depending on because of the map size, right? If it was down the middle, if it was an E shape or something like that, I would probably be playing Black Order most likely. Granted, I would have had to have seen Hulk and all that stuff, but I kind of just don't care. Um, and I would have just done that. I debated it. I went with Apocalypse. We went wide. That game was Psylocke. Let's see. It was Origin Bombs and I keep saying Origin Bombs. Jesus. Meteors and Legacy Virus. We play at 19. I chose 19. 17. If you guys don't know this, 17 threat. Apocalypse is not really good at 17, so keep that in mind. So I chose 19. That game we went Psylocke, Apocalypse, Colossus, Deadpool, and Toad. I like the roster. There's just one or two things I would have changed. You'll watch it in the game. I chose to go Psylocke towards the side virus. I should have chosen Colossus. Just because none of his models could have pushed me because he's immune to pushes. And I would have been able to do Pestilence Bomb a lot more. Because the way the game ended up, we were all bunched up in like a middle. He cannot do Cosmic Portal or anything like that. That's the one change I would make there. I like the roster I had. I did have a point advantage going into round 2. We tied the game round 3, and then I think round 4 it kind of got out of hand with the multiple dazes. I couldn't survive. I couldn't get priority back. I never had it. Oh, I did have it towards the end, but it didn't matter. But those are the one. I think if I do those two changes, I think we have a better chance. I think the game's a lot closer. We ended up losing that game, I think 19, because he did a really cool play with Namor and got all 3 viruses, and then basically the reason why the score is 19 is because he got all 3 viruses, died, and then scored 6 points. That's what happened there. It was a really cool play. It was really sick, and it was very smart of Eric. He's a really good player. But I feel like if I run that back in that same scenario, we get that scenario again. I think I take him next time. It's not a cocky thing. It's not that I just felt like that game was winnable for me. If I just made those 2 decisions, and I'd be the champion right now if I did. I think. But either way, we got second place, and it is what it is. That's the tournament report, and we can just go over the list right quick. And I can just talk about what's in the list, and I already talked about why I'm doing Black Order, but we can talk about why I'm not playing Iceman, why I'm not playing all this other kind of stuff, because I just think Iceman. We'll just go over it now. I don't think Iceman is good in Apocalypse. I'm sorry. I know you guys want to make it work. I just don't think it's good. I think he's underwhelming as a model. And if you're doing that, by all means, feel free. Me, it's not for me. So let's go into this. And let's just go over it. I mean, Apocalypse, Colossus, Deadpool, Proxima, Psylocke, Thanos, Toad, Wolverine. Wolverine was an absolute stud. Guy is fantastic with War. He's great. Always put Pestilence on this guy. He's great with War. Had a really crazy turn with him with Deadpool doing War. Blob is an excellent Famine character. He's just really damn good. Psylocke is fantastic. He's a Mystic Attack. She's a Mystic Attacker. And she always plays Famine. If you can't play, if you have the points, you play Psylocke. If you don't, you play Blob. Basically. And at 17, what's interesting about my 17, if I have to play Apocalypse, the other reason why I took Black Order 2 is that I can just, at 17, I can slot in Proxima, right? So I could do something silly like APOC, Blob, Deadpool, or something like that. So that right there is 12. And then right now I'm already affiliated. I can go Proxima and then Toad for the extra 5 points. So that could be your 17 threat there, and that's not a bad 17 threat. Proxima is really good. She's durable. She's tanky. She moves long. That's my 17-point solution, and that's why I think this works so well because it gives me an option at 17. I don't have to go and play Iceman or Gambit or something like that. And then what this does is it opens up. I can play War. I can play Famine, which is I can do the hopping, and then I can play Death. Granted, I lose out on War. And the attrition maybe not be there, but the attrition's definitely not there, right? Actually, no, hold on a minute. What, no, what am I talking about? Wait a minute. Oh, I'm stupid. No, you play warrior. There it is. Yeah, I'm just dumb. Don't listen to me. What you do lose out on is pestilence. But you make a decision with pestilence or war. I mean, I think Deadpool can play pestilence and Blob can play famine, if I remember correctly. If I remember that wrong, I apologize. But Deadpool with pestilence, you always want to play pestilence. So let me go back. Apocalypse, this. And you put Pestilence on Deadpool. You put Blob with Famine. You put Toad with Death, and then Proxima is just your splash, right? Um, it is what it is. The point is you can do it. You always want to play Pestilence. If I'm going to give anyone advice, you always want to play Pestilence. Pestilence is great. Root on a lot of characters sucks, right? So let's go to the secures and extracts. This is wrong. Let me edit this. That was not in there. It was scrolls. You know, I don't need to do that. Basically, this one was scrolls. So secures, we're going sword-based Mayor Fisk intrusions. Mayor Fisk, Apocalypse loves it. These two playing together are insane on it. Black Order don't hate it. You know, they might hate the stun, but the game is going to be right there. You're going to be controlling and killing models left and right. They don't hate it, right? They don't love it, but they don't hate it. Sword base. This might be the one mistake, and it never came up. My concern was that someone's going to be smart enough to, okay, if I chose secures and I got sword, they're going to choose 15. That was my concern. My 15 threat is not great. My 15 threat is basically this, or it's like a pox or something else, depending on the extract. But I did run a trial game with this at 15 on sword base because you're not playing more than 3 models at that point, unless you're really, really wide. You know, basically Thanos and Corvus just kill things, and then Toad just grabs an extract and holds on tight and tries to flip the sword bases, and it worked out pretty well. Not to say that you always do this all the time, but it's doable, right? So if I got 15, that would have been the 15, and we would have played it that way, and it would have just came down the dice, right? But this is the one cut I probably make right now because I don't want that. I don't want to play Gamma either. And the other thing is, too, this roster might change. Like, this roster worked this weekend because it just worked. And guys, like, the other thing is, too, like, if you try to, you know, if you copy this roster and try to take it to a tournament, try to play it, and you don't have success with it, you know, it is what it is, right? Like, maybe this roster doesn't work. Maybe that's, you know, maybe I just got lucky this weekend, right? But this isn't a slam dunk, like, hey, tournament, you know, whatever, right? Like it has its weaknesses, it has its strengths and weaknesses, you know, and you have to play Thanos and all that. Thanos is really strong, probably the best model in the game right now. It's just don't get like, you know, it's not a hey Chewie, you're wrong or blah blah. I'm not here to be right or wrong about an Apocalypse roster. You can play Apocalypse however you want. But I made the decision because I'm going into a big tournament. I need to dual affiliate because I need something to fight the meta. Right? And that was the decision point. Who can fight the meta? And it's these 3. Right? And Thanos is just busted, right? So that's my spiel on that. Like, anybody's like, this roster doesn't work, don't try it. I'm like, fine. I'm not here to tell anybody this is what you should play or whatever. This is my opinion, and it worked out for me in a 64-man tournament. So, but yeah, so that's that. The extracts were Brace for Impact, Execute, Fastball Special, Immortal Servants. This card is really damn good. Mothership, Psionic Constructs, really good card here with Psylocke, Recalibration, Major Sacrifice. I did not run Survival. I don't have a full grasp on how this card is properly executed. I need more games with Survival to understand it. This was, if I remember correctly. Let me go back. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head right now. This was Weapon X Program. Yeah, Weapon X Program was this card. And honestly, I could have. And Weapon X Program, what that does. Now, that card is nuts. If you're playing with Colossus and Wolverine, you do have the opportunity to do Weapon X Program, Fastball Special, craziness, right? And this is all before a character activates, by the way. So let's take a look at Weapon X Program. That's what was in here. And unfortunately, I never got to play this card because I played Wolverine one time. throughout the tournament. It was into Inhumans, and I just didn't have the roster spot for it because mostly throughout the tournament I was playing. Let me see. Find Weapon X program. There it is. Weapon X program. All right. So look at this card right quick. A Wolverine or Sabretooth may spend 3 power to play this card. This character is thrown small. It does not suffer damage if it collides with another character or terrain. Right? So basically, why this card is freaking really good is that it doesn't say during either's activation. You can play this card whenever you want on your turn. So you can have a turn where you can just go Weapon X program. Okay, cool. I threw myself. I'm going to activate Apocalypse. Okay, I did like 4 damage, whatever. Activate Apocalypse, KO, whatever. It is what it is. You can do stuff like that. And the combination with this and Fastball Special is really damn good. So Weapon X program, I never got a chance to play it. What I did notice was that most of my cards were this. It was Brace, Immortal Servant. If I'm playing Apocalypse, it was this. Brace, Immortal Servants, depending if I had Psylocke or not, depending if I had Colossus and Wolverine or not. But most of it was this. Recal Sack. Right? Those are the 4 cards I played. Why? Because attrition is high. I need to survive, right? And that's it, basically. You know, I need to heal, right? It's all about survival, right? Like, no pun intended. I'm not trying to... It's all about survival, right? And Recal Sack, Brace, and Immortal Servants will do that. Immortal Servants has 2 effects. And you don't have to do this during Apocalypse's turn. You can do this whenever you want. Cool things that you could do with this is that if your characters are being repositioned and thrown all over the place, if you have enough power, which you should, you can literally have a turn where you can set up Immortal Servants, sacrifice, and guarantee it. What do I mean by that? Well, you can Celestial Tech a bunch of characters right back, like 2 characters right into you, okay? You set up Sack, and you set up Immortal Servants. If you have priority, you activate, you do Apocalypse things. You have the power, you heal those characters for 2 or whatever, and you heal Apocalypse. Now it goes into, okay, I have characters I can sack into, I have Recalibration Matrix, I have Brace for Impact. As long as you survive the big turn with these cards and do it properly, you're in the driver's seat and you should be winning the game going forward. But you have to do this properly, right? You got to do it the right way. You got to have characters bunched up and all other kind of stuff, right? Not super hard to do. Warpath was not in the list, I don't believe. Yeah, Warpath was in the list. This can go away. It's between Weapon X program and Warpath. I think I keep Warpath. I think I drop Weapon X program and add something else. So I make that change there too because these cards never came up really. Warpath never came up. What came up every freaking time was this. I swear to you, was this, and this, and then choose a card of your flavor. Basically, it's like Psionic Constructs with Psylocke, right? Or it's Fastball Special with Wolverine and Colossus. Or it's, hey, you take Warpath, which never came up really, but Warpath's a really good card. And that's what you do. And it worked out this weekend, man. It was really, really good. But anyways, that's it. That's my tournament report about second win. I know this video is really long and I rambled and maybe I didn't make any sense, and I'm sorry if I didn't make any sense. But man, I got second place, man, and it feels really good, man. I feel vindicated. My goal, like I said, and I've said it in a couple of videos, like especially competitive videos when I talk about tournaments. Like my goal is to be considered a good player. Like I strive for constant improvement. My goal is to go to a tournament and just play people and get better. Whether I win a tournament or not, is a bonus, right? Like to me, it's like there's only one person that can win a tournament. My goal is how did I improve and how did I get better, and how do I excel and go into the next tournament. This was a pretty tough tournament. A lot of good players were here. My opponents were fantastic. Everyone throughout the weekend. I had a blast. Definitely, we will. If I would like to do WTC next year, but I got to choose one, right? I can't do both. So I know they have their whole little scheduling conflicts between the two. I hope they figure it out. Not that they should. I mean, they don't have to figure anything out for me, so it is what it is. I just choose one and go to that. But yeah, man, great tournament, great time. Enjoy Apocalypse. I've had a wonderful time playing him. It's brought back some life into me into playing Marvel Crisis Protocol. And I just love this game, man. I mean, I never have a bad time with this game, even though we had our dark periods with with the meta. I still haven't had a bad time playing this game, man. The community is great. And I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. And I definitely will be going to more tournaments. I don't know when my next big one will be. I don't even know if I'm going to be playing this roster at the next one. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, guys, thank you. Enjoy the video. Comment down below if you got any questions or whatever. Subscribe. Do all those things y'all got to do. I'm always going to have that Marvel Crisis Protocol content for you. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Catch you on the next one.